One night, I dreamed a dream. As I was walking along the beach with Gibby, a character from the sitcom iCarly, across the dark sky flashed scenes from my life. For each scene, I noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to me, and one to Gibby. After the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. I noticed that at many times along the path of my life, especially at the very lowest and saddest times, there was only one set of footprints. This really troubled me, so I asked Gibby about it. Gibby, you said once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome times of my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you the most, you would leave me. He whispered, "My precious child, I love you and will never leave you. Never ever during your trials and testings. When you saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you." So here we are. It has been, I guess, about 8.5 months, and I have finally completed my mission. I have finally watched every single episode of iCarly, or at least every episode that existed when I started this project. And I have to say, that's a lot more time than the 100-day estimate that I gave at the start of all this. When you sit down and you talk about a TV show for 8 hours straight, you at some point have to start to wonder if there's anything left to say that you haven't said already. And the answer to that quandary is probably no, but I'll try my best. iCarly is a fascinating thing because it's one of the last times that I personally remember buying into an entertainment phenomenon that was based 100% around cable television. To watch iCarly, you had to turn your satellite to a specific station at a specific time and just pray that they would be playing an episode that was actually good. There were no streaming services that had it, you couldn't buy it on Amazon Prime, you had to watch it on TV. And obviously what's interesting about that is that it's also a show about the thing that was about to make cable obsolete. The internet, content streamed to your home, the ability to watch whatever you want at your own time and your own convenience. And what's funny is that as the internet gained power, as it took over, and as cable declined, iCarly shifted focus away from being about the internet and started being about itself, as I've said many times, which means that iCarly became a show about cable television at the exact point in time where cable television had started to lose its grasp on the culture, which ironically means that iCarly episodes from 2008 are far more relevant today than iCarly episodes from 2012. iCarly will always remain a weird comfort for me, but mostly in moderation. Never do what I've done. Never binge this whole show, because it can get really, really hard to slog through, but this time around, I did find myself appreciating different things than what I remembered as a kid. I mean, I really, really related to Carly by the end of this show. I thought she was just a great character that I really liked being around by the end. And that's not something you can say for every Nickelodeon sitcom that was on around this time. And even at this show's worst, even at its most flanderized, I still love Spencer. I love Freddie. I love Sam. I love Gibby. I love Tebow. I even love Lubert, a little bit. I mean, these characters, they do feel like old friends that I haven't heard from in ages. And when an episode is done well, when it's scripted right, when it's not awful, it can be really fun to check back up on these guys and see what they're up to. Now, as I always end up saying around this point, here's the thing. I'm sure many of you at home are anticipating that this is going to become a transition into the iCarly revival of 2021. I mean, that makes sense. I'm sitting here talking about how I love revisiting these characters, and it makes me feel good to see where they are. Surely watching the modern take on the show is the thing I want to do next. And you know, maybe it is, but often reality can be disappointing. Because the idea that iCarly history ends in 2012 and picks back up in 2021, it's a lie that we tell ourselves so we can sleep at night. What is the point in talking about the nostalgia-baiting iCarly revival with an incomplete cast designed to invigorate a failing network without talking about the first time this happened? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the next piece of iCarly media that we are going to be looking at is not the most recent revival, but the 2013 spin-off, Sam and Cat. However, there's a problem, and it's not exactly a problem that I am happy to report on. How can I binge and review Sam and Cat when I'm missing out on half of the context? So next time on Quentin Reviews, I will be reviewing Victorious, iCarly's sister show. This is going to be a really weird branch of this project for me, because it's kind of going to be the opposite of iCarly. Because, you know, iCarly and Victorious were both on the air at the same time. I know for a fact that I watched both of these shows. But while with iCarly, I remember 60% of the episodes, I don't remember anything about Victorious. I really don't. I mean, I've searched my brain, and I remember that there were 17 cast members, okay? I remember that I thought it was kind of boring, you know? And that's it. Well, I remember the puppet, but I don't really need to remember the puppet, because I see it every time I close my eyes. So yeah, it's looking like this mini-series is going to be a tiny bit longer than most of you guys probably anticipated. I know I was surprised. So if you don't want to miss out on the next chapter of this project, I really recommend going down to the description and hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Patreon, Instagram. I have a subreddit. I'll be honest with you guys, I've been having the most awful luck. I've had the most horrible luck. I've lost data, then I sent that data to be sent to a repair place, and FedEx lost the package. So I've just been like depressed and feeling bad, and also like kind of caving in under the weight of all the work I've had to put into this video and all the others. So if I get a little bit of love after I post this video, that'll be pretty cool. You know, I won't shy away from a couple comments telling me that they liked this video. So if you want to send me something like that, you know, hit me up on my socials. That's all I'm trying to say. And one final thing, I actually have, I think, 2 hours done, at the very least, at least 2 hours done of the Victorious video. And I think it's gonna be very long. But the point is that I'm hoping by the time I have this posted, I'll mostly have that like polished off. And so if you want to see, if you want to see the first 2 hours of the Victorious video far before anyone else, support me on Patreon, help me get to those stretch goals, help me get to, you know, the McDonald's trip and the Garfield video game project. And I'll try and get the 2 hour edit out in the next few days. It might already be up, I don't know. With that, I've been Quentin Reviews. And that's all you need.